de la Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México, cuyas tareas son enlazar a las instituciones de habla francófona en Europa con las entidades académicas de la UNAM. Recientemente tuvimos la oportunidad de hablar con el doctor José Luis Palacio, quien es el director de la Escuela Nacional de Ciencias de la Tierra y promotor de los geoparques desde hace mucho tiempo, y en particular de uno de los geoparques, el de Mixteca Alta, en Oaxaca, en México, y ponerlo en un conversatorio con uno de nuestros invitados aquí en la Sorbonne, en donde está esta sede, con el profesor Patrick de Weber del Museo Nacional de Historia Natural, en una organización que hicimos junto con la UNAM y la Sorbona, a conversar sobre temas de geoparques. Él nos habló sobre la importancia de los geoparques con el peso específico que tienen en el patrimonio de Francia, y nosotros por parte de la UNAM presentamos también temas afines. Esta segunda etapa decidimos llamar Encuentro Virtual de Geoparques. Invitamos, y quiero agradecer muchísimo a Marie-Luise Frey, a Patricio Pereira y a Nickolas Zouros por haber aceptado. Y me da simplemente mucho gusto estar en uno de estos temas, en estos temas que son muy importantes en términos de que los geoparques pueden ser unidades territoriales que resuelvan a nivel local y a nivel regional, detonen, por ejemplo, algunas soluciones en materia de ordenamiento territorial, pero también en materia de impacto económico local y sobre todo de conservación ambiental también, de lo cual seguramente nos hablarán nuestros invitados. Así que los geoparques han sido algo importante. Pensamos probablemente que en años posteriores la propia UNAM organice algunos otros eventos con series de geoparques. Si José Luis Palacio nos acompaña moderando y conduciendo con su expertise estos contenidos. Así que yo le doy la palabra a él. José Luis Palacio no nada más es el director del ENCIT, como dije, de la Escuela Nacional de Ciencias de la Tierra, es investigador del Instituto de Geografía también, ya ha publicado muchos artículos y un par de libros que tienen que ver con los geoparques. Así que, José Luis, pues vamos a desarrollar esta sesión en inglés en honor a la comunicación que podamos tener con los tres interventores de hoy, y vamos a tener también una serie de preguntas y respuestas que las pueden formular en el idioma que más les convenga. José Luis, adelante, muchas gracias.
Bueno, gracias, Federico. So now we are going to speak a sort of English. Sorry for my English. I will try to do it in this language. First of all, I would like to thank Federico and the Center for Mexican Studies of the UNAM in Paris for the interest in organizing this virtual meeting on geoparks. We are also collaborating with the University Seminar of Geoparks and Geoheritage of the university. And we are going to have three talks, three speakers today, talking about different topics related to geoparks. Well, according to the UNESCO, and this is a concept that many of us have heard, the UNESCO Global Geoparks are single unified geographical areas where sites of landscapes of international geological significance are managed with a holistic concept of protection, education, and sustainable development. As we know, the geoparks involve also the promotion of the knowledge of earth sciences, the conservation and protection of not only the geological heritage, but also the natural in general and the cultural heritage. And therefore, the geoparks are involved always in sustainable development issues. One of the distinctive elements of the geopark is the work with the communities, the local communities that inhabit the territories. And a special interest in the last years, particularly in Latin America, is the participation of in our geoparks of indigenous peoples, indigenous communities. And this is, then we need a bottom-up approach. This means that the communities have to be involved since the very beginning in the project. The communities, the local communities are the main actors, since they are in charge of their management, of the geoparks, which is always related to sustainability, contributing also to local development. The local economic development is mainly based in two pillars. There are many pillars, but two of them we are talking about today, which are geotourism and education. Both are very much related, and this education and this geotourism is related also to the general public and the specialized public. So, and this is why the geoparks may be framed also in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. The geoparks, as you know, have de facto existed since the last century, although it was in the year 2000 with the creation of the European Geoparks Network, and in 2004 with the creation of the Global Geoparks Network, that the geoparks become more relevant worldwide. And the number has increased notably. The number of geoparks in the world gave rise also to other regional networks of geoparks, for example, the Asia-Pacific Network, and the Latin America and the Caribbean network, and in Africa is coming also the African network of geoparks. In November 2015, the UNESCO International Geosciences and Geoparks program was formalized, and there are currently 161 geoparks in 44 countries. For sure, Professor Zouros will talk about this in detail. And we have to say that there are many aspiring geoparks waiting for evaluation, so the number of geoparks around the world will increase notably in the coming years. Also, a distinctive point of the geoparks is networking. Networking plays a crucial role. The work of geoparks in regional networks and in the global geoparks network aims to promote the exchange of successful experiences that contribute to the strengthening of these territories around the world. The work in networks and thematic groups, there are thematic groups in all networks, without any doubt, are strategies that have contributed to the development of the geoparks worldwide. We have today 3 speakers, which are very renowned geoparkers. I will call you geoparkers. They have a long history and who have been present in geoparks since their inception, since the beginning of the century, and even before, because as I was telling you, there were geoparks before 2000. And due to the trajectory of these 3 speakers, they are recognized as pioneers in geoparks issues in the world and in Latin America. In fact, 2 of the presentators, to the speakers, Nickolas and Marie-Luise, were founding members of the European Geopark Network, founders of the first geoparks in the world. So we are going to listen to our 3 speakers, and we are going to start with Dr. Marie-Luise Frey, which is with us here. Marie-Luise is from Germany. She is the managing director of the UNESCO Messelpit World Heritage Site, which is working in close cooperation with the UNESCO Global Geopark Bergstrasse Odenwald since 2003. She participated in the creation of the first geopark worldwide, we can say, Gerolstein, Vulkaneifel, in Germany, in 1992. We were talking some minutes before the presentation that she's 29 years working in geoparks. So Happy birthday to you, Marie-Luise. Almost 30 years. She has worked in the development of experience exchange between World Heritage Sites and the global geoparks, and she has also worked in science and geoheritage transfer, interpretation, and communication in combination with education through geotourism. She's very active in education and geotourism working groups of the European Geoparks Network and the UNESCO Global Geoparks in collaboration with the UNESCO World Heritage Program. She was member of the Global Geoparks Bureau from 2004 until 2015, external advisor of the European Geoparks Network since 2004, and elected member of the Executive Board of the Global Geoparks Network since 2016. And she has finally conducted several evaluation missions and has supported aspiring geoparks to find their way to go ahead. The title of her presentation is Geotourism Activities, Products Exchange with UNESCO Global Geoparks Partners. So please welcome Marie-Luise. It's a pleasure to have you here, Marie-Luise, and to see you here. The voice is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Jose Luis, dear friends. Buenos dias, amigos. I'm happy and feel very much honored to be with you today, to do this presentation on experiences about geotourism. And my dear friend, Nickolas Zouros, will know quite a lot of what I'm presenting, but without collaboration and networking, we would not be here to meet you today. And this is for me personally a very high gift to have this opportunity to share the experiences with you all. And Jose Luis has already told a lot about my vita, but I think we should now go to show what Geoparks can do with partners. So are you switching on the presentation now, Jose Luis, or how is it going?
Yes,
so
please.
welcome again, and thanks for this very kind invitation to be with you.
Please, I think you can share your presentation if you want.
So, okay. So what do I do now? Did you upload the presentation, or shall I upload it?
Veronica?
Yes, we have the presentation. I will put it in a moment.
Thank you. So thank you very much. So this is the title of what we are going to share today. And do you change if I say, please, the next one, please, or who is?
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's go directly to the next slide. Just a short overview on what's coming up to all of you. I want to highlight focus areas of UNESCO Global Geoparks, tourism development by geoparks. Especially, I want to start with the geotourism development in Europe. And then I want to give elements of geotourism activities, products, and exchange to all of you across geoparks identity, infrastructure, collaboration, meetings, fairs, marketing, and the importance of collaboration and exchange on especially geotourism. The next one, please. Again, buenos dias, dear friends. Our Earth is a big planet. And already since the 16th century, globalization has started. And you see one of the ships sailing across, and UNESCO Global Geoparks started sailing already quite some time ago. And the globalization was forced by IT since 1980s, and people traveling much more than before. But then started too that people realized we need to think global and realize local. And it started in South America on the UNESCO conference in Rio de Janeiro. And then all of us started from local to global and to exchange from global to local. And UNESCO Geoparks especially started to support open eyes with emotion on geoheritage trust, generating trust for a peaceful together. The next one, please. And these are all we are looking for, the people in our territories, but also people from surrounding and from our countries. People from different ages, from different education background. Next one, please. When we now look upon this presentation, UNESCO and UNESCO's focus areas for UNESCO Global Geoparks, you find 3 of them inside the focus areas for UGGPs: education, local indigenous knowledge, and geoconservation. And these 3 are a main part also for sustainable tourism. And then it developed across geoparks to geotourism. But you see below the other focus areas, which are also important and contribute to these 3 focus areas too, and therefore also to geotourism. Next one, please. The development of geotourism started by creating the European Geoparks network in the year 2000 to 2001. And all of the 4 partners, initiated by Haute-Provence in France, Lesvos in Greece, and Maestrazgo in Spain, together with Vulkaneifel in Germany, where I was working at that time, we asked first which aims do we want to achieve and which directions exist, but not only at that time, which today means yesterday, but also today and for tomorrow. This was supported financially by a LEADER project, LEADER 2C, from the European Union. And next one, please. These are the main pillars that we have already developed at that time during the project development of geotourism in Europe, which finally, when you look through the aims listed on the left-hand side, the tasks in the middle, and the use of all these activities, and on the right-hand side below, you find that finally this ended in the creation of the European Geoparks network, the Charter for the European Geoparks, which then finally, from 2015 onwards, means in an improved way the statutes of the UNESCO Global Geoparks. And the topics mentioned here, I'm raising in the following folies to give you an impression of geotourism as a niche tourism, which is a main part of sustainable development. The next one, please. Initiated were all these activities, as you see, from those rural areas who wanted to attract visitors to their territories by using and highlighting geoheritage across the infrastructure of panels, trails, flyers, visitor centers, but also by networking. And you see the arrows indicate where they wanted to get visitors from. And in this example, you have Vulkaneifel in the middle, but you also could put the same towards Haute-Provence, Maestrazgo, and for sure, Lesvos Island. Next one, please. And you have started the network for the Latin America and Caribbean territories in 2018, which is great, because maybe we can share now some of the points which we could achieve and exchange and collaborate with you in future. Next one, please. Landscapes with geoheritage and people, as already was told by Jose Luis, are the basis of geotourism. See some examples here from Mount Taishan, Geopark as well as World Heritage, Flores on Azores, Zhangjiajie in China, but on other sides of Flores, Azores too. The next one. Other landscapes here from Europe like in Haute-Provence, Ireland, Spain, Germany, Greece, have all different geoheritage in a way because their development and formation has different historic background. But each of them, all the differences they have, brings the very special geological significance for the geoparks and also for the geotourism approaches. The next one, please. This presentation is about products, activities, and exchange. When we talk about products for the territories, it's really important to define, based on the vision of the territory, what you want or how you define your territory, your geo-identity. Because when you want to use that to create benefit, you need to ask then, by what do I want to do it? Normally, then you develop measures. They lead to actions, which go ahead to interaction, exchange, combination of experiencing the destination by tourism highlights in context with today's society's demands. And finally, you result in benefit chains, which you can develop then, and from where you get benefit for the territory. The next one, please. Here an overview. This overview indicates by the measures, the actions, the results, and the benefit you can get. You cannot get all of that in a way, but just to give you an impression, you see on the left-hand side the 7 points or steps you can use to achieve results on income, payment, awareness, and to get multipliers. Also on the right-hand column below, you see what is the benefit. You have different directions of benefit: economic, social, educative, acceptance, pride of the people of the territory, network development, and your geo-identity, which is a core of the UNESCO Global Geoparks to revive this by all the work the geopark territories do. The next one, please. By the different measures in product change, you get the different types of benefit as already told. Here some examples when you look upon infrastructure stuff, actions, results and benefits for administration and for marketing media. Because all of the different top points I have shown here from 1 to 3 have different views onto the work of the geoparks and on the following up benefit finally. And you can see here the differences as an overview. The next one, please. When we talk about benefit chains and you want to start a product, you also need to think of communication, infrastructure, service, excitement for visitors, and the benefit. And the main point is you and we have always to think about results on income, image win, pride, tax, but also we and you, we realize, we push, we organize actions, like to get quality offers, like to get a common appearance, and to realize professional service. And 2, you and we initiate, define, push and train, in a way, visitor demands, service will and ability, product combination, and we do a professional realization. All this basis on the measures which are given then from the quality and value and visitor-orientated product definition, and follows then in sale of emotional, social, and economical benefit. You, we are here. You know about your territory. You initiate activities. And finally, it is you who decide. Next one, please. Let me give you an examples and also invite you to have a short insight into the Messel Pit, where I'm working, and a fantastic example of collaboration with our partner Bergstraße Odenwald right from 2003 onwards, and also with the partners. And I, unfortunately, because of short time, I forgot Lesbos. Nickolas, please apologize. Lesbos is our longest collaboration partner, and from Greece, and then Hong Kong in China, and Natutejo. Next one, please. This is our site at the Messel Pit, and I want to show you this to give you a short introduction in how to deal with the theoretical things I have told you before and shown you before. You see, this is a fossil site which is worldwide unique, and you do not see any fossil. It is like a former quarry. Go ahead with the next folie. And this is a treasure which we have and which you cannot see when you walk across this site. We need to have the scientists digging for fossils to bring into light of the sun these fantastic fossils. The next one, please. And you see, Messel Pit is famous for mammals with skin, shadow, hair, and feathers, but also for the next one. Go ahead. Findings, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. For nutrient cycles, and you see here within one fossil, you can see a 3-layered nutrient chain, which is really unique worldwide. Go ahead. But all these values are captured in a way, or like an archive, in a volcanic crater that formed the territory and was a base for the fossil archive of 1 million years of fossil findings, and which are today a climate archive for us. Next one, please. Let's come back. Products today, tomorrow. The product directions are, as already said, tourism products, education products, economic products, but also literature and publications. See, I'm jumping now in a bit also to the Global Geoparks network to indicate the basis of our common activities which are possible and we can share and develop further on with you. You see the magazine of the Global Geoparks. On the right-hand side, you see the product definition and aim. We want to raise awareness for the products. We want to have the products at any time and in any country of the network. We want to have geo-related school programs around Europe and the globe. And we want to have global information on geoheritage and geotourism. And you see below in the photograph, one of the visitors from Hatzek in Romania, in front of the Konje Balaton Geopark sculpture, and some colleagues had interesting product ideas and communication ideas. The next one, please. But based on your infrastructure, you can then develop a set generating geotourism, because you start from science transfer with education to get sustainable development by visitor management, which means tourism and regional development. And the territory to visit, you have teams getting to know each other. By infrastructure, you have additional information and promotion of partners. By trails, visitor center, panels, both logos exist to support each other. You need staff for service, and you can have exchange on problems and success. You have activities to train guides and freelancers offers. sustainable development aspects, type of material, tourism products fitting the market, common exhibitions which can rotate, common communication in tools and events. And for us this year, hopefully from summer on, we will have an exhibition with Lesbos UNESCO Global Geopark, which is fantastic. Go ahead, please. Let me give you some examples on how some of the colleagues in the network have developed panels, trails and centers. Look on the left-hand side from Vicos Aos. You have a trail which uses cultural bridges. You have colleagues who do special interpretation panels, which may be very different, as you can see looking onto these panels. And it really is you who develop all these things, and you need to think then, how does it fit to your culture, to your life, to your visitors? And then this is the basis of the geotourism activities and your success. Next one, please. Infrastructures, like this visitor center. This is where I'm now, the visitor center at the Messel Pit. They are used for bookable products, for tours, for events, for games, which you can see below, which you need and can develop by thinking of what do your visitors like? What do your people in your region like? How can you use the elements who exist already, but maybe you have forgot it because of modern technology? Human beings like to think only modern things are important. But it is important to think of old histories, old traditions, and you can integrate and link up them with your geoheritage, for sure. Next one, please. Education products. Here are some examples. Quite a number of geoparks has created geopark schools and activities with school classes. Next one, please. Or having in the visitor centers special things. We can exchange concepts and participation in workshops for new exhibitions. As I told you, we have with the Lesbos, for example. Next, please. Some products which have been generated, which are used for educational purposes, but also now for tourism purposes, as you can see, not only the visitor from Hatzek, but also the Natoteju, Toulouse, and for example, Stonehammer, the crystal, chip crystal and fossil, who explain to children what they do. And you see on the left-hand side, the Messel Pit has created a time travel crew. Next one, please. Also books for children to make it better understanding or to give children things to paint or to develop souvenirs in connection with your heritage. You see some of the souvenirs below. These are candles realized by a local enterprise. Next one, please. Or game. In the moment with the Bergstraße Odenwald Geopark, we are developing this game in a new way so that the ideal combination will be 50% geopark, information and photos, 50% World Heritage. So you have, from the direction of the concept, children and adults can collect, can play, can discover, and can learn about your territory. Next one, please. Common events are part of geotourism activities, not only in the own territory, but here for exchanging. You see on the left-hand side that the majors from Natotejo and Messel Pit met, and all other examples exist, like from Lesbos or from UK, etc., etc. We participate in a peony festival together with the colleagues. And we also had examples of enterprises from Natotejo here in Germany. You see the bakery activity, who used traditional recipes. And it was amazing because today in the modern life, a lot of people have at home no time to do bakery. So this was, as an activity, very interesting exchange. And for example, not only Lesbos, but especially the Women's Cooperative started with local regional products, which is a great activity because the women got much more work than they had before, and they have or are still very, very successful. Next, please. Communication tools, media. You see print media, but also up to now it is still mouth-to-mouth promotion, which works best parallel new with social media. You see an example from Trotters on the right-hand side, but also guided tours are communication tools to transfer in tourism as well as in education geoheritage. And you see one of the fantastic Christmas cards colleagues exchange, but you also can use this for your visitors, for your hotels and whatever. Next one, please. An overview from the European Geoparks magazine of the European Geoparks Week on the activities which existed in all the different geoparks. And you see tremendous amounts of people exchanged and got to know their territories. Next one, please. Common marketing. We all want to create awareness across our geotourism activities. And also the Global Geoparks Network members want to do common activities. So organized by colleagues from Natotejo, Lesvos and other countries, the GGN started at ITP the first booth on the international tourism market quite some years ago. And this was important because it was the first time that the geo topic raised awareness in a totally new way. And it ended in 2019 for this moment, because then we got COVID, that also the colleagues from Asia Pacific organized in Hong Kong an international tourism fair where all the different members participated and were presented together by the colleagues who organized this in their country. But parallel to this common marketing activity, establishing training courses and trainings on the job is important to open new chances also for marketing. Next one, please. See, coming back to ITB, the participation of ministers who then were totally surprised to see their territory highlighted on an international fair. And you see some examples of visitors, of colleagues, of activities on this type of fairs. Next one, please. Also common promotion tools, because promoting together indicates there is a common base for the people who present this together. Also these tour books, which have been developed in a more modern way now, can be presented on an international fair, but also can be used for your local territories to tell people about the possibilities they have to spend their free time. Next one, please. Or across partner collaboration in tourism. Here an example from the Northern Geo routes. As an example, within the Global Geoparks network, by creating packages for products, inclusive a geo souvenir, for example. Or one of the actual success stories, the Wild Atlantic Way, which was highlighted by the Barren and Cliffs of Moher in the last European Geoparks magazine. The next one, please. collaboration across the different exchanges and trainings, you see examples here. And it is amazing to get the feedback from the colleagues that it is really valuable for them. Next one, please. You can choose for your destination to develop tourism lighthouses, like here in one of the projects with our partner, Bergstraße Odenwald, was done already quite some years ago. And it is amazing because we lie close to Frankfurt Main that we can hand over information material as a lighthouse to the visitors, and then they become aware of the geopark area and see which options they could have at these difficult times, for example, to do walkings by their own or with their family. Next one, please. As a resume, we can say tourism elements exist to safeguard the base of sustainable and geotourism as niche tourism. And it exists a high diversity plus geoproducts in the broad sense. UNESCO Global Geoparks geotourism marketing activities exist and can be extended. Common marketing in the regional GeoLAC, UNESCO Global Geoparks network, with fairs, magazines, books, and e-books, common events, I really want to encourage you to go ahead with that. UNESCO Global Geoparks education activities exist and can be exchanged by choosing among now 141 partners across the Global Geoparks network. And for sure you find a partner fitting to your territory if you like. So activities in GeoLAC and the GGN working groups also support the territories and the people in the UNESCO Global Geopark territories during COVID-19. Have a look at the website. Partnership and exchange activities of UGGPs with partners like Lesvos, Natotejo, and Bergstraße Odenwald on festivals, markets, traditional markets, action days are very, very helpful. Next one, please. So together you see it is a win-win situation by exchange, common projects, bring synergy. We need a continuity to have an understanding that in spite of all differences we have from cultural background or whatever, it is possible to have a peaceful together. Next one, please. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for attending. And together we are strong. Take care and be well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie-Luise. Very interesting presentation. This is a drop of your experience. So we have a lot of things to learn from your experience. Thank you very much. We are going to have the three presentations, the three speakers. And after that, after the third presentation, we will have some questions. So if you want to send your questions, and we will address them at the end of the meeting. Our next speaker is Dr. Patricio Melo from Brazil, very well-known geoparker also. He's a doctor in economic and socio-environmental law, and he's currently an associate professor at the Regional University of Cariri in Brazil. He's also coordinator for culture in the Araripe UNESCO Global Geopark and member of the Global Geoparks Network representing Latin America. He has published several articles and books related to geoparks, and actually I want to say that his last book is going to be presented next Monday in a virtual way. The book is Os Cariri, people from the area of the geopark in Araripe. So the book will be presented next Monday. You can follow it in the YouTube channel of the Universidad Regional del Cariri, URCA. So look for URCA and you will find the presentation next Monday. Patricio is currently the coordinator of the Latin America and the Caribbean Geoparks Network. He's our leader, and I must say that I'm very happy that about his leadership. and he has developed an outstanding work which is much appreciated by the 8 UNESCO Global Geoparks in our region, and many aspiring geoparks and many geoparks projects in the entire region. So we welcome you, Patricio. The title of the presentation is Latin America and the Caribbean Geoparks Network and the Experience of the Araripe UNESCO Global Geoparks within the 2030 Agenda. The voice is yours, Patricio.
Thank you, our friend Jose Luis, for your kind words. Good morning from Brazil to Nickolas, Marie-Luise, Frederico, Mariana, and other friends. I will speak in Spanish and Portuguese, mixed. Portuñol. Sorry, Nickolas and Marie-Luise. Ok, nuestra presentation, amigos todos, quiero saludar a todos ustedes, porque nosotros estamos viviendo en tiempos muy difíciles en nuestros países debido a los impactos de la pandemia COVID-19. Varios de nosotros tenemos familiares y amigos que han fallecido, por lo que estamos ante un desafío para continuar nuestros proyectos con resiliencia y amor, claro. Espero que salgamos victoriosos con vacunas, claro, para obtener, además, empezamos por conocer un poco nuestra presentación, comenzamos por conocer un poco del Geopark Araripe, que es mi territorio en Brasil, y después presentaré algunas acciones que llevamos a cabo con enfoque en los ODS. Y adelanté un poco sobre la historia de la GeoLAC, y que es el brazo operacional, operativo de la GGN. Que tenemos acá nuestro coordinador general, Nickolas Zouros, y la GeoLAC es este brazo para América Latina y el Caribe. Y por lo tanto, inicio por presentar nuestro territorio, que es en nordeste de Brasil, y estamos en un territorio relativamente pequeño, con 10 municipalidades, y que con características muy especiales, y yo voy a presentar algunas para usted. Acá usted ve una imagen de la Chapada de Araripe, que es una meseta con un afundamiento de un periodo geológico del Cretáceo y que presenta por esto en su escarpa, en su fase, en todas las direcciones, fósiles rarísimos y, claro, una biodiversidad muy particular, informes de la arqueología de los primeros habitantes, como hablaba José Luis. Yo estoy hoy a estudiar estos remanescentes de los pueblos carirís, se denominan, y nuestra región tiene este nombre, Carirí, por esto, por estas personas que habitaron este territorio, que nos permite hablar hoy de una paisaje natural y cultural, evolutiva, viva. Y acá algunos de los geositios de nuestro territorio. Ustedes ven acá el geositio Pontal de la Santa Cruz, que nos permite apreciar la geomorfología, contemplar las formaciones especiales de estos territorios, trilhas, field trips, en aprovechar el pôr del sol y beber quien gusta, una cerveza, comer algo típico de nuestra región y reconectarse con este ambiente natural y hacer una inmersión que os permite se conectar con el pasado de nuestra región. acá un ejemplo de la cantidad de fósiles que tenemos acá, de una diversidad increíble y de una cantidad y el estado de conservación igualmente raro, con colores muy específicos, con preservación de tejidos y por lo tanto en tamaños igualmente diversos, porque tenemos fósiles pequeños con 5 centímetros y fósiles para allá del 1,2 m. Y acá en nuestra formación del Val había un lago de agua muy tranquila que permitió este proceso de conservación especiales. Y con la evolución del tiempo, algunos personajes se incorporaron a este territorio, a esta paisaje, dando una continuidad de naturaleza política, igualmente de militancia acerca de la protección de las rocas. Sí, esta imagen tenemos el padre Cícero, que es una especie de santo para nosotros, santo popular, y que ahora está sobre el cargo de la Iglesia de Roma, su conversión para beato y quién sabe, quizá a santo. Y es para las personas de nuestra región, no solamente de Ceará, mas de todo Nordeste y algunas otras regiones de Brasil, ya se hacen pedido a Padre Cícero para hacer milagre. Y él tenía una expresión que habrá el tiempo en que las piedras se convertirán en panes, como si anticipase que hoy nosotros compartilhamos acerca de la estrategia de los geoparques. ¿Sí? Y hay una cantidad muy grande de personas que están acá para hacer pedidos y compartir su experiencia de gracias alcanzadas con Padre Cícero. Y acá están integrados con la biodiversidad y las rocas del territorio, y en algunos casos acá se manifiestan un granizo, ¿sí? Bastante especial, róseo, y que estaba al fondo de la paisaje y que hoy está arriba en una colina que se denomina la colina de Orto de Padre Cícero, que es uno de los más importantes geositios que tenemos acá. Y esta imagen cultural con el mix con los pueblos africanos que aportaron acá y con las posibilidades que generaron la exploración colonial, permitió un cambio, una mixtura de cultura que generó estos movimientos culturales de fiestas de reyes, de uso de máscaras, y que hoy son bastante típicos de nuestra región, de nuestro geoparque. Y acá adentro, en algunos puntos de acciones con la Agenda 2030, claro, puntuando inicialmente que la Agenda 2030 define prioridades globales para un plazo de 10 años, si se puede decir, considerando 20 y 30, y firmado por 190 países. Y estos objetivos definen prioridades, mas sobre todo aspiraciones mundiales que requieren acciones en una escala global y que involucra gobiernos, empresas, sociedad civil, para, de entre otras cosas, la erradicación de la pobreza y crear una vida digna con oportunidades para todos, dentro de los límites naturales y culturales de nuestro planeta. Y por lo tanto es una agenda bastante ambiciosa, mas que hay hoy un apego de las autoridades. Yo creo, esa es la experiencia de nuestra región, que las autoridades políticas de nuestro estado están más atentos a esta agenda, que acá son 17 objetivos y seguramente todos los geoparques de nuestra región están a trabajar más cerca o más lejos de estos ODS, que están a trabajar esto, no hay duda acerca de esto. Mas nosotros estamos acá, vamos a puntuar solamente algunos que estamos a involucrar directamente. Por ejemplo, tenemos research, pesquisa, con nuestra universidad, que es una de las gestoras de Geoparque, Universidad Regional de Caribe, con los cursos de salud acerca del impacto de actividad cuando está cerca del medio ambiente para la salud. Esto es un estudio que está en curso y que para cada uno de nuestros geositios habrá datos qué impacto tiene aquella actividad al aire libre en la salud de las personas. Acá tenemos un sitio bastante rico en que hay varios parques acuáticos, mas esto en especial guarda una especial importancia por esto, porque tenemos acá un pasarito lindo, esto más en colores es hombre, mal, y la femmina es de una color sola. Y acá en estos sitios se puede ver, observar in situ esto, y cómo la vivencia de estos pasaritos están conectadas con la presencia del agua y de las fuentes, y agua en buenas condiciones. Y por lo tanto se conectan dos actividades, el deporte del hacer, pedestrianismo, baños y el contacto con la naturaleza y la educación ambiental. Y esto es una actividad bastante rica, tenemos una conexión. Estos parques son de la iniciativa privada y nosotros no aportamos plata para estas acciones. Ellos es quien financian. Esto es igualmente interesante. Rico, acá un ejemplo en este mismo sitio de una actividad con mountain bike, que no había tampoco hasta 5 años y que ha crecido y tomó una dimensión profesional. ¿Sí? Es bastante rico. Acá una otra acción destacada de nuestro geoparque con la iniciativa privada incluso, y que nos permite una posibilidad de crear una agenda, no solamente con el empresario que está a cargo de este hotel, más porque la temática toda es del geoparque y bajo el ODS 17 con parcerías locales, porque todos los empleados de estos emprendimientos hacen capacitaciones acerca de la temática del geoparque, de actuar en red, y ellos están presionando a los poderes públicos para que toda la red de saneamiento básico de la municipalidad esté conectada a una postura sustentable. ¿Ok? Y todos los trabajadores que están involucrados en esto están atentos para esta temática del trabajo justo y para la ciudad dialogar mejor con cómo que está a hacer en el entorno de estos emprendimientos. Acá una acción muy, muy especial. Quien ya visitó nuestro territorio conocen nuestro Museo del Araripe Geoparque. Quien no conoce, invito a todos, pasada esta pandemia, claro, para estar acá. Este museo tiene una importancia especial porque debido a la cantidad de fósiles que tenemos acá y hay una explotación igualmente de la minería bajo a condiciones legales, más que en el pasado había explotación igualmente de fósiles que hoy están en todas las partes del mundo. Anuncio para usted que ayer nosotros en una articulación muy intensa con las policías federales de Brasil y órganos del Estado, conseguimos un repatriamiento de casi miles fósiles que serán depositados en esto, en una estrategia bastante especial. Esta parcería ha sido posible porque estamos a construir esto después de la creación de Geoparque 2010, que quedó posible hacer una articulación tan cerca de estos órganos de Estado y de la policía y del Ministerio Público de la Federación para hacer esto, porque es un movimiento demorado, complejo, que involucra las acciones de justicia. Y ayer el Estado francés anunció, al fin, después de un largo proceso judicial, la permisión para trasladar estos fósiles para Araripe, para Geoparque y para este museo. Esta es una gran victoria, y como estas acciones de parcería que involucran la educación de calidad y articulación bajo ODS 17 y que permitió esto en escala local y en escala global. ¿Sí? Esta es una gran victoria, y esto confirma esto que estoy a presentar, que es una campaña de educación, que es que tu fósil que está en tu casa por alguna razón, se cambie para el museo, porque allí se permite una acción coordinada de educación y de accesibilidad para todo el que visita nuestro territorio. Y esta iniciativa ha tenido un gran suceso. Acá es un otro ejemplo. Estos son fósiles de rocas, el ejemplo que tenemos en Grecia, en Lesbos, Nickolas. Tenemos fósiles de árboles muy pesados, grandes. Este es solamente son un tronco que está compartido y estaba en otro sitio afuera de Geopark Araripe, que nosotros intercambiamos negociaciones para transportar esto, y aquí es una plaza en frente del museo, conectando a las personas que están acá y que están hoy un tanto felices, contentas de compartir esta experiencia de hacer. Bajo a la experiencia de conectar iniciativas de capacitación acerca del patrimonio arqueológico, las universidades y las instituciones que están a actuar en este sector, como una fundación sin interés económico, la Fundación Casa Grande, y en parcería con las universidades creamos una formación en posgrado, que es de arqueología social inclusiva, bajo esta temática de la conservación del patrimonio fosilífero. Estos impactos llegar a los poderes y al Parlamento estadual a crear legislaciones de protección a estos fósiles, y esto es igualmente una acción coordinada muy rica y con gran suceso. Acá, como esta actuación de los Geoparques Araripe ha sido el primero, y que la posibilidad de actuar con la GGN y con el programa de la UNESCO ha sido muy, muy rico, y eso permitió esto, crear y aprender con nuestros amigos, hermanos Geoparques y Network, y crear una experiencia de participación con nuestros parceros locales y las poblaciones, incluyendo la población indígena que estaban aisladas hasta la llegada del Geoparque en nuestro territorio. Nickolas seguramente va a hablar de cómo nuestras redes regionales se conectan, mas hoy es un gran, para mi comprensión, nuestra red de América Latina y el Caribe ha dado pasos muy largos en educación y mentoría para proyectos nacientes, y configuro, para mi opinión, como un suceso, como estamos a promocionar estos acciones conjuntas de geoparques bajo la comunicación, publicaciones, intercambios de información y claro, hermanamiento. Aquí alguna otra acción con la lideranza, con el liderazgo de la red propiamente, como la formación de 3 grupos de trabajo, en especial esto de género. Tenemos alto índice de violencia contra las mujeres en nuestra región de América Latina y el Caribe, de conocimiento de todos. Y esto es el tema muy grave y que la red se involucró de este tema y que tenemos hoy bajo este grupo la lideranza de 4 geoparques, que sobre todo con la coordinación de Río Coco, Mónica Bueno, que está a frente de esto. Y con acerca de los pueblos originarios, los pueblos indígenas, empezamos hasta 2016 acciones, eventos que crean la visibilidad para nuestro pueblo y con el liderazgo de ellas propio, de estas lideranzas, a participar, a compartilhar con nosotros, que quieren decir, cómo quieren decir. Esto es importante. Acá un otro ejemplo con la participación de un evento de un Geoparque proyecto, claro, transnacional, con la presencia de nuestra ganadora del Premio Nobel de la Paz, ¿sí? Rigoberta Menchú, para que usted pueda conocer la importancia de esto, las mentorías con Geoparque Expediente de Europa, de Asia y claro, proyectos de América Latina y de Brasil. Acá hoy, ¿qué formación tenemos en la red? Somos 8 geoparques con marca minera de México y Mixteca Alta, que es hoy de la lideranza de José Luis y Xochitl, Imbabura, en Ecuador, Río Coco, en Nicaragua, Grutas del Palacio de Uruguay, Araripe, que yo estoy acá en representación de él, Utralcura, de Chile, y Colca y Volcán de Agua en Perú. Y tenemos hoy un miembro individual que es Elga Cholepina. Acá las raíces iniciales de esta red, 2010, en que Araripe solo en las Américas, un geoparque, y que ya estaba acá conosco, persona muy importante de la red, ejemplo de Nickolas, joven Nickolas, en 2010. Sí, acá como aportó Marie-Luise en 2016 en la firma de la carta de creación de la red oficialmente en Perú, para que en 2017 impulsamos la primera coordinaduría ya en México, en territorio de Hidalgo. Y acá, ¿quién son nosotros hoy de la coordinación de Araripe, Grutas en la vicecoordinación? Utralcura por Patricia Herrera, una muy buena colega. Todos estos son muy buena gente que están compartiendo con nosotros la lideranza en la región. Imbabura por Carlos y Mixteca con la representación de José Luis, que está acá con nosotros. Y esta es la dirección del site. Invito a usted a visitar nuestro site, por favor. ¿Y qué nuevos geoparques están a aspirar a ser geoparque de la UNESCO? Acá tenemos en Bolivia, guardando la visita y decisión del Consejo de Geoparques Mundial de la UNESCO, Territorio de Bolivia, Camino de Kenia del Sur y el territorio de Seridó de Brasil. De Ecuador tenemos 2 candidatos, Napo, Sumaco y Tungurahua, y de México, Huasteca Potosina. Son todos 6 que aspiran a ser geoparques de la UNESCO. Acá, ¿quién son? Los logos, la dirección de sitio web. De Ecuador, perdón, no había dicho. Napo, Sumaco de Ecuador, claro. Otro José Luis Sánchez, muy buena gente igual. Y Huasteca Potosina de ustedes de México, que están a promocionar este evento. Y todo quieren esto label del Programa Internacional de Geociencia y Geoparque de la UNESCO. Acá está en la dirección para que nos escuchen, que nos asisten. Para quien quiera conocer más qué proceso tenéis que hacer, qué criterios están, cómo se hace la aplicación, está acá en la dirección del sitio de la UNESCO. Esto es todo, amigo Federico, perdón de la demora. Muchas gracias, José Luis, un abrazo a todos que nos escuchan.
Muchas gracias, Patricio. Thank you very much, Patricio, for your presentation. We are moving to our third speaker, Nickolas Zouros. Nickolas is very well known around the world in this Geoparkers group. Nickolas Zouros is a professor in physical geography, geomorphology, geotectonics, and geodynamics at the Department of Geography at the Aegean University in Greece. He's the director at the Natural History Museum of the Lesbos Petrified Forest since its foundation in 1995. So he also has a very long experience in issues related to geoparks and before the geoparks. And he is the coordinator of the Lesbos UNESCO Global Geopark. Nickolas, as I was telling you, is one of the founders of the European Geoparks network in 2000. He organized several international conference meetings and workshops on geoparks. And since 2004, he works closely with UNESCO to promote and develop the geoparks concept in Europe, but increasingly in other parts of the world as a member of the Global Geoparks Bureau. He has evaluated geoparks in many countries. He's president of the Global Geoparks Network Executive Board since 2014. He is author of scientific articles, books on geoparks, geoconservation, and geotourism. I have the pleasure to know Nickolas for almost 20 years. In 2004, we met for the first time in Beijing. And since then, we have a very good connection, very good friendship. The title of his presentation is UNESCO Global Geoparks Network, a global partnership for a heritage-driven sustainable. Thank you very much, Nickolas. Welcome. You have the voice.
Hello, thank you very much for the invitation. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you and discuss in the frame of this course with very good friends who have already presented very interesting aspects on the adventure. I would say that Geoparks is an adventure. It's the first time that the science meets society in that really very special way, where science is now under a UNESCO program really in the service of the society. And I'm very pleased that this network from the very beginning is based on the human capital, on the different individuals that provide their services, their knowledge in the service of the society. And they have created this wonderful network, the Global Geoparks Network, which nowadays counts 161 UNESCO Global Geoparks worldwide. And it's always a great pleasure to I'm sorry that I cannot make my presentation in Spanish, but it's always a great pleasure to be and to have a contact with colleagues from Latin America. I know that I have very good friends there. You have already noticed it from the introduction of Jose Luis. And I'm really very glad with the presentation of Marie-Luise Frey and Patricio Melo. We share together a lot of difficult, but most of it beautiful moments in this adventure. And because I'm sharing these feelings, I feel that every time that we meet together and we present this network, the network becomes more strong because more young people, more young colleagues are coming along with us to continue this adventure, because one day all of us will have to give their position to other guys the new colleagues that should continue for the benefit of. Okay, so, and I'm coming very quickly to my presentation because I don't know, it doesn't work. Okay. And I would like to start this presentation with the fight that the Geoparks were giving since 1 year now with this invisible enemy, the global pandemic. No one of us was prepared for that. But we all should know that this pandemic is the result of the misuse of our planet. And Geoparks are here to underline that we should not misuse our planet. We should not misuse the gifts that this planet gave to us. Biodiversity, the natural environment, the harmony that nature creates for us since billions of years. And just in a few years, we are managing under not the proper way. We don't manage the treasures that we have in the proper way. And this is the message that UNESCO shared with all the people during the last year. Now it's time to act. Geoparks, based on the heritage of our planet, based on the memory of our planet, are trying to build better days for our societies, for our communities, for our people, especially those living in rural areas of the world, under very difficult conditions. The colleagues that are struggling under the restriction of this pandemic. We are all losing beloved ones due to this pandemic. And we have always to think that our planet gives us the way to think in a better way. The past is always a lesson for how to behave in the future. And this is also about Geoparks. There is a very important value on how we should behave on nature. Nature conservation is not just about safeguarding the ecosystem services we need to survive. It is also about our identity as species. Without nature, we lose our humanity. We are part of nature and we should show our respect. Respect nature is the base also for many cultures around the world. And I know very well that you living in Latin America, you can understand much better these phrases. But I'm going to bring you to the old world. I'm going to bring you in Europe. What does it mean, Geopark is an earth park? Mother Earth, Gaia in the Greek mythology, was always a creature that created gifts for the humans. Thousands of years ago, and this Gaia, this Mother Earth, was depicted like here from a Greek sculpture in the altar of Pergamon Museum in Berlin. Many people are aware of the need for the protection and conservation of our natural world. Climatic change, pollution, disappearing rainforest, forest fires, and extinction of species have increased our perception of need to protect our natural environment. Rocks, minerals, fossils, soils, and landforms are an integral part of our nature. The distribution of habitats, plants, and animals depend not only upon climate, but also upon geology and the landscape. Geology and landscape have profoundly influenced society, civilization, and cultural diversity of our planet. But unfortunately, our societies seem to forget many of these things. And that's why the United Nations, and especially the Organization for Culture and Education of the United Nations, UNESCO, has proceeded in 1972 to the World Heritage Convention. This is the first time that with a legal framework of international value, we try to support the conservation of world's cultural and natural heritage, which is considered as one of the world's most significant tools for raising awareness on Earth heritage. Under this convention, many important World Heritage sites have been protected worldwide, in America, in Africa, in Latin America, in China, or in Europe. But unfortunately, the World Heritage Convention was not enough to protect in the proper way the heritage of our planet. Among the more than 1,000 properties inscribed in the World Heritage List, only 1.8 of the sites are relevant to the geological heritage. All the others are dealing with cultural heritage mainly, and the living nature, the other part. That's why in 1991, UNESCO organized an international symposium for the conservation of geological heritage in Digne in France. And from there, the International Declaration on the Rights of the Memory of the Earth came. Some years ago, later, in 1996, the first discussion during the Third International Geological Conference in Beijing have been discussed. And at that time, during that conference, the site that was presented previously by my colleague, Marie-Luise Frey, Messelpit, was the reason to think that we have much more to do for the conservation and protection of geological heritage. Because if at that conference was presented the more than 40 years of efforts to nominate the World Heritage Sites of Messel as a World Heritage Property. But if we lose the sites of geological heritage by inscribing each one after so long period, we knew that the majority of the geological heritage sites would have been lost. That's why we created, together with colleagues like Marie-Luise Frey, like Guy Martini, the European Geoparks Network in 2000, with 4 territories, as already mentioned by Marie-Louise. And in 2004, in Beijing, in the International Conference on Geoparks, we established the Global Geoparks Network. And that's how the adventure started for the whole world. Every 2 years, we meet all together. In Belfast in 2006, we started with 25 geoparks, global geoparks, and we were 50. In 2008, we became 57. In 2010, in the international conference in Langkawi in Malaysia, we became 77. In Japan in 2012, where also Patricio Melo was with us, in this big conference, we became 92. And in Canada in 2014, the 6th International Conference of Geoparks, we were already more than 100. And this was a very important moment because at that day, at that conference, we decided to make the big step towards the inclusion of this network that started in a voluntary basis, as described before by Marie-Luise, to become a UNESCO program. Finally, in 2015, at the 38th General Conference, UNESCO adopted the proposal for the establishment of the International Geoscience and Geoparks program with 2 pillars. One, the already existing geoscience program, the famous IGCP, and the other one, the UNESCO Global Geoparks. At that moment, we were 120 global geoparks in 33 states. But very soon, we became more and more under the umbrella of UNESCO. In 2016, 127, and 2 years later, in Adamello Brenta, 140. Nowadays, we are 161 in 44 countries. And I'm very pleased to announce that yesterday at the UNESCO Executive Board, the number of geoparks increased to 169. And this will be the official announcement on the 21st of April this year that the UNESCO Global Geoparks will become 162 and 69. And you are all welcome in the welcome event for the new geoparks to celebrate all together on the 22nd of April, the day of the celebration of the International Mother Earth Day, to celebrate all together the enlargement of our network. And of course, this will not stop to 169. We do believe that very soon we will become over 200, over 300, over 400 territories collaborating, working together to safeguard the geological heritage of our planet, and together with the ecological resources and the cultural values, because all these are strictly connected together, are the faces of the one Earth, the only planet that hosts life in our region. And this is a great responsibility for all of us to work in order to have this planet a place for human beings, also for the generations to come. Here you see the spread of the red dots of the global geoparks network around the globe. We do know that there is a significant difference in different continents. We do know that we have much to do in the next months and the next years to change the picture, to increase the number of geoparks in Latin America, in North America, in Africa, and in Oceania. And of course, in other parts of the world that are again missing, like in Central Asia and the Arab world. We do know that there are outstanding geological heritage sites all over the globe. And I'm sure that this network that is growing and growing will manage to deal with this challenge, because it's really a big challenge to enlarge a global network. So this new concept, dealing with Earth heritage protection and management, is the real tool for the sustainable local development. Because we are not just working for the protection and rational management of the geological heritage, but we always do it looking at the same time to the local society, to the people that should be proud for their own territory that host this exceptional geological heritage. And this new innovative concept is using networking, collaboration, and sharing as tools for its development. It was already mentioned by Jose Luis Palacio that UNESCO Global Geoparks should be geographical areas unified. When we're talking about a geopark, we should include a certain space and not just a series of sites of interest. We are not talking about a serial nomination of different sites of geological interest. We're talking about a territory that is a living territory where people are there and who will get the benefit. So we are talking from a unified territory, hosting this exceptional heritage. But we always look to the population of this territory. We look to the living conditions and we try to improve. We look to all forms of heritage, not just geology, but also the ecological value and the cultural monuments that reflect the inspiration that the people took from that heritage, from that territory that built through ages. Of course, we do care about the socioeconomic characteristics of our territory, and we try to help the development of our economy at the local level for the benefit of these communities. We also work for the accessibility, because if the territories and the sites of interest are not accessible to the general public, then we cannot create benefit for the local people. And of course, we try to engage in this concept of geopark, all the existing infrastructure. We are not putting apart the existing infrastructure and try to build only infrastructure for the geopark. No, the geopark is the territory, the society, what there is inside this territory. So we use every single piece of infrastructure that exists to build the network. And Geopark is a living network. Of course, we should have a management body that will deal with this territory. Of course, we should have staff, including geoscientists, because we need an interpreter who is going to tell us about the values that are hosted within this heritage. We need a budget to work with this territory, and of course to pay the staff. We need partnerships in all the territory, and we need networking at the local, the national, and at the international level. We don't do only international networking thinking that we can represent alone our territory. No, we need to have a local network that will support continuously the geopark. We are not the representatives of the territory without giving back to the territory some explanation, without having a strategy for the local development. But we need to collaborate with all the stakeholders, all the partners existing in the territory, and especially with indigenous people. We also need to work at the local, at the national level, to collaborate with other national institutions, universities, with other geoparks if exist. And of course, we need to share at the international level to promote our territory, We want the international audience to know about territory, because in this way, benefit will come from people wishing to learn about the heritage that host our territory. Of course, we need inventories. We need to have sites of interest. The more rich, that is, the product that we are offering to the international audience, the more benefit we are going to have for the people living in our territory. So we need, of course, the sites of interest, but we need also to have a management plan. It's not enough to have only scientific research and say, okay, we have this list and we have this inventory. The question is what you are doing with the inventory. Are you working to safeguard, to protect, to conserve the sites? What you are doing with this heritage? Do you interpret this heritage? Do you explain to your people what does it mean, this site, this stone? Make the stone speak. Make the fossils speak of the stories of the past. Make them speak for the future. Because which is the best way to speak about the future of our planet if we don't know the memory of the planet about the past? And now I'm speaking about the climate change, the biggest threat for the humanity and for the planet. But the consequences of the past climate change is written in the stones of our territories. If we study the past, we will make a better and more safe future for the generations to come. Because the past shows the big extinctions. The past shows that climate change was always in the past of our planet, and the consequences of the past climate change was the loss of biodiversity. And who was the one that most affected in the previous mass extinctions? We know that is the species that were dominant. So the dinosaurs was the dominant species in the Mesozoic and have paid the bill for the Mesozoic climate change by their extinction. You know who is the dominant species nowadays? Of course, human beings. Those human beings will pay the bill for the climate change of nowadays. Don't hear the voices that say that climate change doesn't exist, is something that the scientists are creating. No, our heritage, the heritage of our planet, shows that the consequence will be severe. And we have a duty to save our planet, to save for our societies. And that's why we need to have a management plan. And we have to build infrastructure, to organize activities around this heritage, and monitor every time what we are doing and review our mistakes. Because even the people that are in love with the geological heritage are human beings, and human beings always make mistakes. So we need to review. We need to monitor and review what we are doing to make it better, to learn from the examples of our colleagues. I have to learn from my colleague in Germany, in the Messel pit. I have to learn from how people are doing, my colleagues in Brazil, or how they are doing my colleagues in Mexico. And I have to show them what I am doing in order to help them not to repeat again and again the same mistakes that I have made in these 25 years that I'm working on geological heritage conservation. I have to share my experience with all of the community of geoparks in order to accelerate the process of making better geoparks. And we have to take care of our resources. Geopark resources are, of course, the geopark heritage, in which geoparks have an holistic approach. But geopark resources are also the local communities, the human capital of our geoparks. And we have never to forget that geoparks exist only if they have a bottom-up approach, by engaging local communities to what we are doing. And all this is because we have a sustainable development strategy. Sustainability is a modern word that many people are speaking, are saying, but I'm afraid not all understand what does it mean, sustainability. Sustainability means to make our communities able to survive. Sustainability means to use the resources that are given to us in such a way not to be extinct. Sustainability means to conserve our planet, to respect our planet, to inspire from our planet, and work, and work, and work to build the future. Geoparks heritage, of course, includes landscape, geological heritage sites, but don't forget and don't make mistake, areas of ecological value and cultural heritage. I will never stop to repeat, a geopark is not just a geological park, is not just the geological heritage, is of course the geological heritage and many more, because geological heritage, our landscapes, our rocks, our fossils inspired people to create culture. And geological heritage is the source of our biodiversity, is the source of our ecosystem. Nothing can be divided. We are in a unique planet, we're living a unique planet, and all these elements work together. So what geoparks are offering to all of us? Outstanding landscapes. The beauty of our planet is in front of us, in these outstanding places that we need to protect and conserve for the generations to come. And there are landscapes from all over the world in my presentation, from Europe, from Asia, from Latin America, from North America, from Africa, from Oceania. All these are outstanding sites. And these sites are also sites dealing with the history of the life on Earth and the life evolution. And from the big sites with dinosaurs to the completely unknown primitive forms of life, like the one in Naturteio Geopark, there are so many sites to protect and to be proud of it. And this is a site from Cyprus, the only geopark that exists on Cyprus Island, that shows how our planet works, how the planets, how the oceans spread apart and create new land. And you see these red rocks, seated dikes of the opening of Tethys Ocean some million years ago, standing at the top of Troodos Mountain in Cyprus, and is the heart of the Troodos Geopark. Each site, never mind where it is, explains stories that are universal stories, stories that speak about our planet, stories about the history of our planet. And of course, geoparks host unique ecosystems. There are so many beautiful stories to share about the beauty of the geoparks, the heritage that they are hosting, the rich ecosystems, the cultural value. There are many sites for which, unfortunately, I have no time to explain, but all of them are different aspects of the heritage of our network. And don't forget, even the monuments are based on the geological basement, and their conservation and future is absolutely connected with the geological conditions in different parts of the world. For example, the geological conditions play a key role for the stability and conservation of monuments like the Great Wall of China in this part. And you see why in the part where is granite, the Great Wall of China is more stable, and we can see it in a great way. And of course, how we extract the treasures of the earth, the minerals, the salt. Here, salt mines, 3,000 years old in Zhejiang, still working. There are so many things, and even intangible heritage. Well, for the Geopark operation is extremely important the actions of the implementation of the Geopark Management and Action Plan. I can say in a different way the famous phrase of JFK. Don't ask what your territory can do for you, but ask what we should do for the heritage of our planet. Geoparks are working for that. And I'm closing my presentation with this message. We need to do many more things for our planet and for our heritage. We need it not for us, but for the future generations to whom we need to give a planet that will remain sustainable as it was till now for all of us. Thank you very much for your understanding.
Thank you very much, Nickolas, for a very inspirational presentation. And then you see the experience of a person who has been involved in geoparks for decades. And he's always very encouraging. Thank you very much. Bravo, Nickolas, says
Thanks.
Patricio. And so we have some questions in the social network, in our broadcasting. I must say that I am very surprised because in many of the comments, there are many people working in projects that I never heard about. In Colombia, in many other places, there is a huge number of projects or people interested in geoparks. And I would like first to ask for a comment to Patricio. In Latin America, in particular, there are many projects. We have 6, as you mentioned, 6 aspiring geoparks now, waiting for the evaluation, and many other projects. How do you see the future of geoparks in our region, in Latin America and the Caribbean?
Okay, thank you, Jose Luis. Thank you, Nickolas. Excellent explanation. Very interesting and rich in information. Colegas de América Latina y el Caribe, new projects, new territories, personas que están interesadas en hacer su territorio convertido, cambiar las cosas, mejorar la capacidad de agregar renta a las personas más pobres, más que a lo largo de estas personas tienen un territorio con una geología, una paisaje, sitios de interés rico que se involucra en contar la historia de la madre tierra que tienen núcleos, poblaciones originarias, están invitados a conocer cómo se desarrolla la iniciativa de Geoparque. Y hay muchas iniciativas, como ha dicho José Luis. En Brasil estamos hoy a lo largo de 9 sitios que están a desarrollar el proyecto en el territorio y que están para hablar del dossier de indicativo de una geología expresiva que cuenta la historia de la madre para el mundo. Y así es igual en todos los territorios de América Latina y el Caribe. Es necesario que quienes están interesados en hacer, que su territorio comprenda esto. Hay que leer lo que están a decir, las guidelines, los estatutos en los sitios de la GGN y de la UNESCO acerca de esto. Yo estoy a ver que hay una gran cantidad en los próximos 4 años. Seguramente estaremos en 20 geoparques. Esta es una expectativa que tenemos en la red, porque estamos a crecer en ese nivel. En 2019 estábamos con 6 territorios candidatos. Como tenemos la posibilidad de hacer 2 candidaturas por países al año y tenemos una pandemia, estos proyectos de Brasil, como un ejemplo, ya 2 otros territorios ya presentaron su carta de interés de candidatarse. Entonces, de 2, cambiamos para 4 en 2 años. Y tenemos una capacidad y un patrimonio riquísimo. Entonces, yo estoy un tanto optimista y hay reglamentos que Nickolas presentó muy bien de cómo conectar iniciativas de territorio muy buenos, más que hay que involucrar a las personas del territorio. Sin esto no tenemos geoparque. Y esto no es fácil. Y hay un tiempo para hacer la comprensión del concepto de Geopark y para que estas personas se involucren con esto, porque no es un cambio simple de cambiar a veces una cultura que está parada para hacer desarrollo. Sí, Nickolas, esto. Y José Luis, claro.
Gracias, Patricio. I remember that when we started in Mixteca Alta to work, this word networking was always there. And networking means collaboration between geoparks. And this is something that I have witnessed, that we can ask for advice to any geopark in the world. And this is true. We got the help of many geoparks around the world. In some cases from Spain and Portugal because of the language, but from any country in the world we can get the advice. And let me say some things in Spanish because some people are asking about this. Quisiera yo mencionar nada más que esta palabra de trabajo en red que surge normalmente en los geoparques, lo que significa es que cualquier geoparque siempre estará dispuesto a aportar con sus conocimientos a los nuevos intentos de geoparques. Lo menciono también por el caso de unos colegas del proyecto de geoparque de Saquencipa en Colombia, que mencionan que ellos quisieran tener un poco más de ayuda o de conocimiento de esto. Yo les aconsejaría, Patricio, creo que estarías de acuerdo, que se acercaran a la red Geolac, en Facebook o en la página de Geolac, en donde seguramente el contacto con estas iniciativas, estamos todos los geoparques abiertos y dispuestos a poder colaborar para que no se tropiecen con las mismas piedras que nosotros nos tropezamos, podemos decir. Hay muchas cosas que se pueden evitar siempre y cuando tengan el conocimiento y la ayuda necesaria de quienes hemos pasado por esta experiencia. Así que los invitamos a cualquier geoparque a participar. Y algo que también es importante, y aprovecho a decir, es que hay algunas personas que dicen que ojalá pudiera haber una traducción. En este evento, pues tuvimos una mezcla, pero existe muchísimo material grabado en español. Lo pueden encontrar ustedes en las páginas de la red de Geolac, Geoparques Españoles, También tenemos una página del Seminario Universitario de Geopatrimonio y Geoparques, que es www.sugeo.unam.mx. En esta página de Sugeo tenemos muchas grabaciones y existe hoy más que nunca material que puede consultarse en las redes en diferentes idiomas, en todos los idiomas del mundo. Entonces los invitamos a participar también en esto. I would like now to, Nickolas was also, and Marie-Luise was talking about the importance of networking. And I was telling that really, we have the chance to get the experience of any geopark in the world, because this is the sense of networking, and the Global Geoparks Network is very much involved and very much committed in having this advice to any group of people interested in this. I would like to ask, as you saw in the last presentation and in all presentations, geoparks is not only geology. We need the participation of a group or a team which is very multidisciplinary, and maybe Marie-Luise, who has been working with, Marie-Luise is a geologist, and maybe Marie-Luise, you can comment on this, the importance of having a multidisciplinary team in the formulation on the creation of a geopark. If you could say some short comments, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Jose Luis. I think it is really very important that you are aware that you are a limited human being. And even if you are interested in many things, you need special support when you talk about culture. You need special support when you do promotion. I am not a journalist. Well, I've learned quite a lot. But it is really important to jump over the barrier that you should not ask anybody something. You have said it a few minutes before. You really can ask everybody in the network. And it is positive to ask for support. So also in your daily work, you are not fit in everything. I'm now a managing director. When I started my geology studies, I never ever would have thought I would have this position. So it's like Nickolas said, we started an adventure and you need to add, to learn. And one part is also you need human beings to support and to create a geopark to be successful for your territory and your population.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marie-Luise. And we have another question, maybe, and it's a frequent question, I think. I've heard this in several forums. And it's about the ownership of the geoparks territory. I think Nickolas can say something about. The question is that a person who is interested in the ownership of the geoparks territories. Are they owned by the federal state, by the municipality, by a council, by a board of landlords? What can you say about this, Nickolas, please?
Well, first of all, I have replied to your previous question in the chat.
Please.
And now to this question, I would like to say that the geoparks belong to their people, to their communities. Geoparks are organized in order to serve the local communities. And their intention is to make the people that consist the local communities proud for the heritage that they own in their own territory. By being each one of the people living in the territory responsible for this heritage is the only way to safeguard this heritage. If the people feel proud and feel owners of that heritage, not for the piece of land, but for the heritage of the territory as a whole. Only in this way we can achieve what we would like to create under the concept of geoparks. So I think that we should all feel owners and responsible for the protection and safeguarding of the geological heritage that exists in the territory. It's not the federal state, it's not the local government, it's not just a community, but the society, the authorities of the community, but should be the community as a whole.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nickolas. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, so we have to leave it like this. But for me personally, it has been a pleasure to be with you, three good friends and very renowned geoparkers, to see you, although virtual. We know that these pandemics have affected normal activities in all geoparks in the world. But I think that we should know that these virtual meetings have increased in an amazing way. I mean, today we have an extraordinary set of information in recordings that we can consult, that we can share, then we can, and there are many meetings that we are attending. And before we didn't have the possibility to be everywhere. Only Nickolas was always everywhere. Nickolas was living in a plane or in the airport, but now I'm sure that he's in several meetings through this into the internet, which is at least a possibility to attend all this and to witness the interest of a growing community involved in geoparks and interested in geoparks. So I just want to thank you for your time. I want to thank also all the participants which were connected in this transmission. We got people from many countries in the world, not only in Latin America, but in Canada, Mexico, Bolivia, Cuba, Bolivia, Chile, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Uruguay. We heard about many projects that I personally never heard about. So this shows the great interest about the great interest we have in geoparks. And I am sure that, as Nickolas said, we will soon be 20 in Latin America, but there will be 200, 300, and 400. Finally, I think that the geoparks contribute in many senses for having a better planet and a better world. I always said, as Nickolas told me now, that the geopark is the perfect geographical concept, where everything, the physical, the natural, and the cultural sectors are very much involved and connected. So I thank you again to all of you, Marie-Luise, Patricio, Nickolas, and thanks Federico and the Centro de Estudios Mexicanos of the University in Paris. I hope you all keep in good health. I'm very pleased to see you. Take good care of yourselves and see you in the next events for sure.
Yeah,
Cuídense
thank you
mucho
so much.
todos. Falta mucho
Muchas
todavía.
gracias.
Un abrazo a todos.
Thank you, Nickolas, Jose Luis, Federico, Marie-Luise. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to see you again.
Yeah.
Greetings to all the
Muchas gracias a todos. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
The next time we have to be in Yunnan.
Yes, sure.
Good.
Sure.